Like to welcome everybody to our second live event. It is the second of many because we are going to start a House of Bricks live event. So I'm just going to give everybody some time to get on here. And with Father's Day around the corner, I thought it'd be a great time for a dad joke. So why not do it? I've got 4 sons. I tell them dad jokes all the time. Let's kick one out. What is a good name for the son? Ray. You got that? Is everyone following with me? Now that is a good joke. It's free. I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I do have a lot of talents, and being funny is one of them. At least I think I'm funny, and that's all that matters. So we're going to give everybody a minute here to join. I see different people popping on. So just if you're on time, that is the House of Bricks mentality. My grandfather used to say, if you're on time, you're late. So hopefully some more people will hop on. Good to see you, Mike and Paul, Eli logging in as well. So see different people popping on here. Give it one more minute. I just returned from my keynote speaker training, which was awesome. Looking to get on some stages soon near all of you and continue to spread the House of Bricks message, which is living life brick by brick, using every experience for you to build a strong foundation and also give you a platform to share the story of your life, which is one that only you can tell, but it is up to you if you're going to tell the whole story. So we continue to make progress through our actions. The worst decision you can make in life is to not make decisions. We decide, we read, react, and continue to make progress. So it's not about making the right decision every time. It's just making those decisions and making progress because those decisions create feedback for you, and that will help you make better decisions down the road. So we're going to kick off now. If you're not here, you're missing out, and you're probably not a fit for what we're going to talk about today. And you've seen me posting on LinkedIn a year ago. I really had no interest in telling my personal story, but my wife, as always, was right 5 years ago when she told me that my story isn't really about me. My story is meant to inspire you to do everything that you're called and created to do. And so the things that I've overcome and achieved in life, it hasn't been an epiphany. I'm not that smart of a guy. I have actually spent 80% of my life failing in the struggle zone, but it's not giving up and surrounding myself with the right people, right mentors, right advisors, right peers, and also mentoring other people. That has really helped me accomplish everything that I have. And again, it's not really about my accomplishments. It's about what inspiration, motivation, and transformation I can give to the people that I come in contact with. So as you may or may not know, I've been an entrepreneur for 27 years. I've been saying 25 for the last 2 years, but now I've owned the fact that I'm 47 years old. So now it's actually 28 years because I started my first business when I was 19. I was probably a lot like several of you out there. You had a business, you had an idea, you had a dream. Well, I started it out of my apartment. I was dead broke, had a couple $100, moved down to South Florida. But in high school, I had the distinct honor to work for Dan Gilbert. So if you don't know him, he's the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, founder of Rocket Mortgage. But at the time, it was a small company, and I was his intern. And so I got a crash course MBA in what it was like to create vision and get people to follow. And that really helped shape my entrepreneurial journey. So I started that business, and it's kind of funny. This reminds me of my office that I had set up, except this is bigger. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I literally had 3 phones set up. One was sales, one was marketing, and one was management. And so I was selling leads to mortgage companies. And if people didn't like the product or they weren't happy, I would just transfer them to another extension. Yeah, this is Bob. I'm Adam's boss, always one of our top sales guys. So we all know as an entrepreneur that you have to fake it a little bit before you make it. And that's okay. You're not being fake. You're having confidence in what you're doing. And the more progress you make, the more successful you're going to be. But it's surrounding yourself with the right mentors, right community. And where we are now with the House of Bricks, some of you may have seen a couple of weeks ago, I did a VIP dinner in New York City with David Meltzer. He's an advisor for the House of Bricks. And we raised money for a scholarship for our program called StartupX. And what StartupX is a accelerator course for you as an entrepreneur to go from that 0.5, we call it, to 1.0. And a lot of entrepreneurs are focused on, oh, I got to have a website. I got to have a logo. I've got to have an MVP. Well, I'm going to give you a little secret today. The MVP is actually one of the worst things that you can do. And what I tell entrepreneurs is you need to find an MVC, which is a minimum viable customer, and find out what problem it is that you want to solve more efficiently, faster, or in a different way than your competition. And once you have that minimum viable customer, you can take that big problem, break it into subsets, and find a subset of that problem that you can solve with the least resistance and get their buy-in. So a lot of companies will pay for a proof of concept. I did it with Velocitude. We literally started it from a PowerPoint and got a Fortune 500 company to pay for the proof of concept. And we were more agile than the front runner in the market. So they were able to give input into the product. So solving a problem for a customer is way more important than you focusing on an MVP. And what people do to get their MVP to market is they just create trash. It really is. It's how quickly can I get an MVP? And it probably doesn't even meet the needs of the customers that you're going after. You're spending all this time trying to find an ICP, your ideal customer profile. A lot of times that's wrong. You're too focused, you're too wide, whatever it is. So get a customer, find the problem, break it into subsets. And that's what we will help you do with our startup program. And so if you're just joining, again, I see more people hopping on. We're talking about our StartupX program, and we're going to announce something actually really big during the show. And this isn't like some gimmick to get you to stay till the end. It really is a big deal. And I'm going to talk to you about it in a little bit. So I have two people joining me today. Mike, him and I met over LinkedIn. He just happened to catch me on InMail on a Saturday. I don't know why I was even in my InMail. I very rarely check it, but we've been since that Saturday dialoguing pretty much 24/7 on how can we get our StartupX program to market, and how can we make an impact in entrepreneurs that are stuck in the struggle zone. And I've recorded this course, StartupX, that will do exactly that. So the information in the course, you can find it anywhere. You can go on ChatGPT and say, create me a business plan, and it'll create you a business plan. That'll be one more thing that you never do. Okay. You'll create it, and then you won't go back to it, and you'll go back to chasing other shiny objects. So what StartupX does, it gives you focus, accountability, discipline, and it's also going to enter you into a contest, which I was alluding to earlier. And I'm not going to tell you what that is yet, because I do want you to hear from Mike. And I also have Eli on the phone as well from the Young Entrepreneurs Hub. So Mike, welcome to the House of Bricks Live. And I think you're on mute.
That is how.
Now you know we're live. Okay, we're live. Mike's on mute. Okay, he's the mute guy. But you got good stuff to say. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's great to be here. I love what we've been working on. It feels like it's been 10 years, but I think it's like a month. But in that time, I have gotten the opportunity to really refocus what I have historically, who have historically worked with, though it's not much different, dealing with a lot of young and hungry entrepreneurs, which I've been talking to relentlessly, there's some common problems and themes that after a while you just keep hearing the same one or two things. You, as somebody who's done this 7 times, are probably much more keen to what those problems are, and why they're so paramount, and why so many entrepreneurs feel like they need to take, drastic measures to succeed, which generally the first thing is, I need money to build that which I can take to market. And for that money, I'll do anything, which is selling your soul to the proverbial equity devil that one day will come to collect. And at that point, you're going to look back and go, maybe that 50 grand wasn't worth 5 to 10% of my company.
Yeah. And it's funny so there are great venture capital firms out there. There's great investors out there, but you have to think, why are they investing in your business? Because they want to get a return on that investment, and they play a numbers game, and their model is expecting 8 or 9 of those 10 businesses to fail. So they're looking for that 1 or 2, 15 or 20x multiple on an exit that makes the portfolio work. And so there's way too many variables to get into now on how companies are valued, what the terms are. But if you're part of our community and you follow me on LinkedIn or read our newsletters, I do cover the different valuation models, the different types of investors. So the point of StartupX is to help protect you as the entrepreneur, to make sure you're not giving away too much of your company too early at a low valuation. I have seen it multiple times over my career, and I've actually done it because when you're in need for cash, you're open to really whatever it takes to get that money in the door. And so Mike was alluding to the common problems, which are cash, people, product, and strategy. You can really put them in those 4 buckets, and there isn't a set it and forget it answer. It takes constant refinement and progress. And the way to get that refinement is through advisors or community or any mentor, because when you're in the business, it's very difficult to work on the business. And us as entrepreneurs, I will admit it now, I'm old enough to admit my own weaknesses. We're blind to our own weaknesses, which is great because we don't realize we just signed up for a career that has a 9 out of 10 failure rate. That's what we're signing up for. I want to give my whole life to this thing that has a 10% chance of succeeding. But that's what we do. And so that's the power of community. It's the power of advisors. It's the power of building a great team. So Mike, in these conversations with founders, what do you think is the biggest way that we can help with our StartupX program?
So based on what I'm seeing and based on what they're saying, the most important thing that I believe they believe is that they need an accelerator. They understand it. These accelerators are there. Obviously, there's incubators, there's accelerators, there's all these programs that are designed not necessarily to ensure that these companies succeed, because I don't believe that that's what they're doing. That's not what an accelerator at those levels can do, because these accelerators have a lot of companies. I think that's more of, it's a hedge fund, right? That's really what you're doing. We're going to buy 20 stocks. We are, let's say, if you remember the SPAC craze of 2021, I remember it because all my red on my portfolio reminds me every day. But the basic premise, obviously, is if one goes well, I don't care about the losers. And I'd hate to say that that's how you have these accelerators work. But based on the terms that I'm hearing that people are telling me they have, where it seems like it's really great, it seems like the money's really great, but you have to look at and question, is it great when you need money, or will it always be a great deal? And so I think that the number one way we can help isn't by giving money, because as I think you always say, and it's perfect, is money follows, it doesn't lead. So the money's always there, but what isn't always there is the reliable coaching, mentorship, the community of people that have done it repeatedly, that know what they're doing, and are not biased with the advice they're giving you, based on their equity position. I have to imagine, and you probably know better than I do, that when you have an equity stake in something, you are biased by the decisions and guidance and advice you're giving. You cannot be objective, can you? Because you
No,
have
you
something
can't.
to lose.
Yeah. And just adding to that, and again, I'm not anti-investor. I've raised between my partner and I over $100 million. We took a company from a napkin to the NASDAQ. So I'm very familiar with the process of raising capital. It's just when, right? What are the terms? The devil is always in the details, but money is always available. And yet entrepreneurs don't believe that because they are out trying to raise capital and not finding it. And so the reason that you're not finding it is you don't have the right story. You don't have the right vision. You don't have the right process. And so that's what StartupX is really for. And we do have a founder, Eli, who I mentioned, of the Young Entrepreneurs Hub. Paul, if you want to add him into the call. But Eli, what are some of the things that you're seeing in your community when people are raising capital?
Raising capital is one thing, and then I think joining Accelerator is another. Definitely the top 3 reasons people are joining us is for network, it's for mentorship, and it's for co-founders. And funding is a huge thing we're seeing as well. And a lot of founders are in that chicken and the egg problem where they don't have enough track. I think I might have lagged. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, great. A lot of founders are in this chicken and egg problem where they don't have enough traction or proof of concept to raise money, or they don't have the network, and they don't have the capital to build the thing that they want to build or prove. So what's cool about accelerators particularly is that triage and that legitimacy that it provides. If someone goes through an accelerator, it's a platform that makes them more fundable. So I think one of the things that people really like about StartupX is the potential to become more recognizable, to become more fundable, to become more formalized, where it's like a lot of, for example, YC, which is a huge, probably the biggest and one of the oldest global startup accelerators. Anyone that goes into their cohort immediately is slapped on a brand label, and they can raise millions of dollars afterwards, regardless of even how good they are. Sometimes people just see YC and they invest. So right. That being a platform and being a brand, the young founders, not just Young Entrepreneurs Hub, average age is 27. We're age agnostic. So I talk to people of all ages, but they just want, and they would love to hop on a ship to get onto House of Bricks or some kind of accelerator that can platform them and take them to the next level. Otherwise, it's like trying to get picked up with like no name versus having a big yellow jacket on you. That's the difference.
Right.
So that's a big, attraction for a lot of founders, especially first-time founders who believe in something and just want to, streamline their success.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And I'll just get to the most exciting part of this. And people often ask me, like, why do you keep starting businesses? Well, number one, I don't know if my wife could take me being home all the time, because when I sold my second company, I think I was home for 2 weeks and I started delegating tasks to her, and she looked at me in the kitchen and she's like, are you literally delegating things to me right now? Because I don't do anything. I just delegate. I'm a great visionary. I was like, yeah, we should organize the DVDs. Let's do that. But then, I don't do it. It was just ideas that I had that I wanted her to do. And so I ducked out of the way of the frying pan. Just kidding. She would never do that. But she is Italian. So there's a little fire in there. She's like, you need a job. I don't care if you're a barista at Starbucks, but you got to get out of here. And so anyway, that's what led to me playing semi-pro basketball at 32 years old, which is, outside of my wife and 4 kids, probably my greatest accomplishment for a 6-foot undersized 2 guard to play professional basketball for the Rochester Raiders Sharks at 32 years old, and not playing basketball organized since my freshman year of college. So all that to say, the vision for the House of Bricks, I don't want to be the guy at the 25-year high school reunion that's still wearing his varsity jacket because he was the captain of the football team. So I'm always creating vision. I'm always trying to lead and inspire other people. And I eat my own dog food. I have an advisor, David Meltzer, and I connected with him 2 months ago. And he has given the House of Bricks an incredible opportunity to be the episode sponsor of the 2-minute drill, which is similar to Shark Tank, but it's on Apple TV. It's in its 5th season. So we are sponsoring our own episode, and we are going to run a contest. We're going to select up to, which is a keyword, up to 100 companies. So everyone that applies, you will not all be accepted. It's just we've got to find the right companies at the right spot. I don't have any pre-baked criteria to exclude people or include people, but we're looking for up to 100 companies. And then we're going to run a mini 2-minute drill within the House of Bricks community and select out of those 100, 5 that will get to appear on the 2-minute drill. And one of those will be selected as the winner. So we're still working on what the prizes are going to be. It's not an investment in your business, but what you have to realize is that the amount of visibility that your business will get, number one, you get to go through the StartupX course, which I promise you within that 30, 45-day period of going through it, your business will be in a better place. So ask yourself, where was I 30 days ago? Where did I want to be today? And why are you not there? Because you keep doing the same things for your business. You're chasing shiny objects. You're trying to raise capital, which is a business in and of itself. So people get focused on raising money and take their eye off the ball with the business. And then it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. The business never comes to fruition. And so what we're going to do is take you through a 30, 45-day sprint. We're going to pick 5 winners, and you get to be on Apple TV. So if you want branding, visibility, and credibility, just like Eli mentioned, you're going to stand out from your competition, because most of them are doing that. They're like, well, I can do this on my own. And you just sit and spin in the same place. And I've been there and I've done that. And you chase shiny objects. I need this AI tool. Let's change CRMs. Oh, what community platform should I use? Like all these different things that you're doing that are not making progress. Or I see people on LinkedIn for like 5, 6, 7 hours a day. I'm telling you, I'm old enough to know that I saw this same trend on Amazon 5 or 6 years ago. So it was easy to do a viral launch of products, get all your friends, get all these reviews, and then you rank on page 1 and you stay there. Well, then people started monetizing their success path of how they got there. Then everyone was doing it. And all these people try to build these multi-million-dollar Amazon businesses. Same thing is happening on LinkedIn. I'm on there, I'm posting, but it's not going to dictate the success of my business. So I create guardrails and focus and goals and things that I want to do. And that's what we're going to do within the StartupX program. And so you've probably seen it already. There's an application posted, I believe, somewhere in the event. If you want it bad enough, you'll find it. You can message me, Mike. I probably won't read your message, but
I think it's going to be in the LinkedIn chat, right?
Yeah, it's in the LinkedIn chat, but some people may not be on LinkedIn. So you're smart enough to find a way to get the application. So chase Mike down, chase me down. Again, I'm probably not your best bet. If you're in Eli's community, he has the form as well. So just want to talk to you about this program. The show is going to be filmed the last week of August and then air a couple months after that. But the value isn't really in the airing of the show. It's the pre-production. It's the process of StartupX. And then all of the content you're going to be on. If you win, okay, you're going to have me as a judge, David Meltzer, a couple other VIPs. So your company is going to be on a level that none of your competition is. There's very few startups unless you go on Shark Tank. You know, God bless you. If you can get on there, go ahead. Whether they invest or not, you still get that visibility. Go read about the companies that have been on there that they didn't invest in. They still blew up, right?
Yeah.
They still had great progress. So it's about the visibility. It's about the accountability. It's about the discipline. And I sometimes do undervalue the value that I will bring to your business. I have done this 7 times. Okay. All different industries, marketing, healthcare, direct marketing, sales training. Now I had an Amazon business, podcasting, coaching, community. Okay. I know how to start freaking businesses. Sorry. I'm just going to lay it out there. Okay. I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to help you through this course, get to where you need to be. And the winner is going to go to the next level. It will be worth every ounce of your time, better than going out and chasing capital. It's going to be a very affordable course. And once we see your application, we're going to pick, the up to 100 companies. We'll figure out how many we want to do, because part of my concern or hesitation on taking everyone is my name's on it. And I value that. I value my reputation. I value the fact that I can call people and say, hey, I got an idea, and they're already ready to write a check. Why? Because they know that eventually it will be successful, but they're going to go through the struggle zone. I've done it. I'm doing it now, right? We're figuring out different technologies, and do we go live? Do we have a podcast? Like all these things. So, but they know I'm never going to quit. I'm going to surround myself with the right people, and I'm going to win in the end. And those are the type of people that I want in my community. That's the mindset that they're going to develop in that process. And it's not just me in my community, right? Mike's a sales leader. We have investment bankers. We have guys that have taken companies public. So it's not just me. We have a performance coach, mental coaches. So there's a lot of value in joining our community. So Eli, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just think like the coolest part of this opportunity is that we're sourcing from a really personalized pool right now of people. It's going to be really hands-on, very few accelerators. And this is true in Silicon Valley as well, especially the big ones are not personalized anymore. They dilute themselves. Right. They're too big. They're too repetitive. And so what's cool now is people who are seeing this, they have access to a really cool opportunity. And most importantly, they have access to a network, personalized experience, and a bunch of people who are successful already, or who are clearly making that one of their biggest priorities. And that simple thing of just aligning yourself with a successful community, be it already successful or on their way to success, it's a highway. It's an absolute growth hack for any individual. And I think that's one of the big reasons why people join communities. So yeah, I would just like to underline this opportunity. I think it's really cool. I'll be sharing it a lot with my community. A lot of them are going to be stoked. They love to be featured as well. So it's a great fit.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you adding that. And again, we're kind of connecting generations here. I'm old enough to be another generation than someone else on the phone. So, but like you said, the average entrepreneur in your community is 27. I've only got 20 years on them, 19. So look, there's a lot of different options out there. But one thing that entrepreneurs don't measure the value of is their time. So just because you think it's not costing you something, time is something that you can never get back. And you don't measure the 6 hours you spend on LinkedIn or the 5 hours looking at a new AI tool. AI is great, but it's also a double-edged sword, because you're not putting in the work to write your business plan. You're just going into Chat GPT, write me a business plan. And then again, you're not going to do it anyway. You need accountability. You need advisors. You need mentors. You need coaches. And there's a lot of them out there. So I'm not saying I'm the only one. In fact, there's probably better ones than me. I'm sure there are. But every level you're at, there's someone that's above you. That's where you want to go. And right now, David Meltzer, he's where I want to go. So what am I doing? I hired him as an advisor, right? That's what I'm doing. And I am open about that. And it's a great relationship for me to take me to the next level of where I want to be. And so I'm very thankful for the opportunity. I never thought 2 months ago I'd be sponsoring a show in its 5th season on Apple TV. Like, you don't just get on Apple TV, and it's not a flash in the pan type opportunity. It's a proven show, proven people, and they have a lot of success stories of companies that were on the show that may not have gotten any benefit right away, but it was one relationship, one phone call. Everyone listening to this, you are one conversation away from changing your life, but you have to be in the right room to talk to the right people.
I'll add to that if I may.
Yeah,
I think that's huge. Is you know, very few people get to where they're at or where they want to be just by grassroots organically growing inch by inch. A lot of times it's that one strategic partner. It's that one person who takes them and just platforms them really fast. And that happened to us even. You know, we just started throwing events here in downtown Palo Alto every week, right? And there was fun. It was social. It was a great engagement. But it wasn't until I was at a cafe pitching to some random dude I met, hey, you should join our club. We're doing this and this and this, that someone overheard us. And it was actually a representative from, in this case, Startup World Cup, a huge $1 million startup competition that happens every year. And they pulled me to the side, and they said, hey, we want to effectively sponsor one of your next events, or hey, we want to get you some speakers in it and get involved. And all of a sudden, they like me, they like the group, they validated us, and then they gave us more and more responsibilities, more and more connections. And, you know, that helped us grow and get some of the biggest event contracts that we're working on now, and just grow our community and our legitimacy and our network way faster. And so it is true. It's often one call away. And, you know, what's important is being ready individually and putting yourself in the position to succeed. I was always staying, and I'm not necessarily hugely successful yet or anything, always putting myself in places where I would succeed. Downtown Palo Alto cafes in this case, or communities like House of Bricks is becoming. Just putting yourself where, you know, there's actually fish to catch.
right.
That's huge. So love it. That's another reason we're stoked about this partnership.
Yeah, thank you.
Also,
and go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so look, I want to add, you know, we're talking a lot about, and maybe we put a lot of weight on the idea of how, you know, David Meltzer's show, 2 Minute Drill, Shark Tank, you know, Shark Tank and David Meltzer, you know, these shows there's a lot of applicants. There's thousands upon thousands of applicants. Making it on this show is not the point of StartupX, because at the end of the day, it's just, you know, it is a lottery ticket. It is like, there's the chances of you being chosen. Of course, it's about talent, because we're not doing 1 million applications, but it's not to be undervalued what the point of being, even if you don't get on this show, which chances are you probably won't. That's 5 out of 100. It's 5% chance. It is a guarantee you will be in the midst of people like David Meltzer, Adam House, Wayne Simeon. I don't want to say myself, because that's not a gift for anyone, but these are the individuals that I have put myself in front of through one conversation with Adam. I have met David Meltzer 2 weeks in. I would have never, you know, if I was busboying the event, I probably would be the only way that I would have gotten into that room prior to Adam House. So it's very important to not chase, you know, how I'm sure there's 1 million companies that never got chosen by Shark Tank that are booming today, because again, you can't choose everyone. There's only a limited amount of time, there's a limited amount of space, and there's 33,000 startups in the United States today that are just stealth startups. So this opportunity takes whoever's watching 100 of the 33,000, 10% success rate, guys. You are now going to be around the people that have consistently done this. Where do you think you stand in that 10% pool when you are now in a room in not the size of the earth, but a room where everyone is there? The chances go up greatly. So StartupX, the program, not to mention, and I want to make sure we make note, is that Adam, no less known than David Meltzer, even though he believes that he is, we're starting our own weekly show that is going to feature a new startup every single week. And it's designed to spotlight some great people out there, great ingenuity, great ideas. Naturally, if you're in stealth mode and you don't want anybody to know about your idea, I guess you might not want to go on the show. But if you have a great idea, you want to get it out there, everything that the StartupX community, House of Bricks community is doing is to give this platform an elevator to the top without having to sell your soul to the equity devil too soon.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up. It really is. We're going to give you a destination that's short enough to keep your attention as an entrepreneur. It's not a 3-year business plan. Like, I don't know how anyone can make a business plan 3 years out from a startup business. I've heard people say, if you want to make God laugh, create a well-defined business plan, because it's not going to go how you want it to go. I promise you. And the company's in stealth mode. I do kind of laugh sometimes, because we all as entrepreneurs think our idea is so innovative and so great. Like, I'm not Thomas Edison. I'm not coming up with a light bulb. And probably 99% of the people on the 99.9 of the people that listen to this percent are not going to come up with a generational changing thing like a light bulb. But you look at companies like Liquid Death, and this is not a commercial. It's not brought to you by Liquid Death, but I'm drinking a $1.50 can of water that probably costs 3 cents. It's not even organic or purified. I don't know. It says mountain water. What does that even mean? But it's convenient. I never get up from my desk for about 12 hours straight. So I got a fridge of Liquid Death back there. And my point in all that is it doesn't have to be something new. It's just a different way of doing something. It's solving a need. But if Liquid Death is watching and wants to be a co-sponsor on the House of Bricks, I'd be happy to have them as a sponsor. So maybe we'll send them that reel and I can get some extra publicity for the House of Bricks. So just being conscious of our time. I appreciate people staying on, but just to recap, some really good points were made on this course, or on this the call, which is the StartupX program. I'm an entrepreneur too. These are not 30-minute long videos and, where you're going to sit and get bored. It will keep your attention. They're 2-3 minute videos, give you some work to do. Boom, come back, get on the community call. We talk about it. It's an accelerated process, gives you focus, gives you discipline, gives you accountability, gets you into the House of Bricks community. And to Mike's point, you're right. Don't bet on the lottery ticket. But we're competitors. And I know all of you out there that are listening, you do think you can win. And that's why you are an entrepreneur. And if you do get on that 2-minute drill, it's going to change your life, change your business. If you don't, you're still going to be a part of a great community and get visibility for your product, get great insight. So I want to thank everybody for joining today and all the support for the House of Bricks. I've been gone through, even though I've done this for my entire adult life, you still have self-limiting beliefs, right? Can this work? Will it work? All that. And you've watched me progress from just doing a podcast to offering coaching, now business advisory services. Now we're building a community. Now I've recorded the StartupX course. Now we're going to be on the 2-minute drill on Apple TV. So this is a ride you're going to want to be a part of. And I appreciate everyone's time. So continue building every day, use every experience for you, and turn those obstacles into stepping stones and get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's what you signed up for. 9 out of 10 failure rate of startup businesses, but I don't know the math, but I guarantee that ones that do an accelerator, that percentage goes down. Ones that have a coach, it goes down even further. Ones that are part of a community like Eli's or mine, it goes down even further. So you can defeat the odds of 9 out of 10. What if we cut it to 7 out of 10? How many jobs would that create? What's the impact? How many families will be independently wealthy? Okay. So there's a big vision here. I want to change the world. I'm not just looking to change a couple companies. It's too boring. I like to do big things. And I know this is going to be the biggest thing that I've ever done because my purpose and passion is also making me a profit. I'm making money doing this and I love it. And I love inspiring businesses. I love inspiring entrepreneurs. So hop on the train and it's going to be a fantastic ride. Fill out that application. I didn't give a deadline. I'm sure we'll have more applications than we can even read by next week.
It's Friday. And that's got to link up with it's a 2-month cohort program course altogether that we have to run through, and filming is 2 months from next Friday. So it has to be next Friday. Very important.
If you're not taking action right away, you're probably not a fit. I'll just be honest with you. I'd be all over this. I would drive to California to be on the 2-minute drill. Like, that's the mindset of an entrepreneur. If you don't have the money for the course, borrow it. If you haven't borrowed money already, go get a credit card. Like, that's what you signed up for. Stop playing it safe. You got to take risks. You got to be willing to put all on the line. You got to bet it all to win it all. And this is what it takes. So I want to thank everybody for joining today. Make sure you stay connected with me. Sign up for my newsletter. I'm sure if we're not connected on LinkedIn, we should be First Degree Connections. Be interacting with my posts so you see more of them. But definitely sign up for our newsletter. That's a way I know that you will get it. I can't control the algorithms, but that's a story for another day. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Keep building.
Great.